All right, so I'm glad you're all here. This is great. I'm going to talk to you about something that's very, very simple. So first, let me tell you that I run a company called Deeplocal. We've been known as a post-digital company, which is a term that was sort of recently invented. It just means we build really large-scale, physical, interactive environments, and hopefully you'll see what that is. Being nice and making friends is a simple concept that I'm constantly amazed by all of these things that sort of happen in my life, which I find really interesting and compelling. They all come from sort of doing whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, for a very long time. I feel like I retired when I was 16 years old, and I've been doing that for a while. Being nice and making friends is a simple concept that I just want you to think about, not your online friends. Most of what I do in my day job, in my life, is about real-world interactions. That's what I care about. I work with technology, but I'm sort of a deep-hearted Luddite. I'd prefer to be away from technology when possible. What I mean is, don't worry about your online friends. Focus around people who care about you, respect you, and will talk to you in person. And this matters a lot to technology startup companies who don't realize that every company you know, everyone you speak to, everyone you engage with, everyone you want to go after and make a client is made up of actual people. It's all about someone wanting to spend time talking to you, that respects you, that learns about you, that cares about you. And that includes your own company. As companies grow and move out of being startups, it becomes about knowing that everyone that works with you and works for you is a person as well. It's a very simple concept here. I'm going to show you how this works. This is sort of my life story compressed into 5 slides. In 1996, I was a punk rock kid. I screamed in a band called Creation's Crucifixion. I also ran a hacker art group called Carbon Defense League. These two things coincided. I ran around the country touring, talking to kids about reverse engineering hardware and software, did workshops on this. 1998, while doing this, I met a person named Adam who got excited about what I was doing, took interest in it. We became friends. He started a record label. I ran one at the time. We became friends for a very short period of time. Adam and I stopped talking to each other. A long time went by. This is 8 years. I started a company called Deeplocal. Deeplocal began, there we go. Deeplocal began as a company that did a lot of consulting work, and we also do our own product development. In 2009, after not hearing from Adam for about 8 years, I got a phone call at my office from Adam Heathcott. And I told him I would be talking about him today, so I'm excited. We've since rekindled our friendship. Adam asked me a very simple question, inspired by some of the work I'd presented him in 1998, and said, at this point, I work as a creative director at an ad agency. I work for Nike, and I want to know, can you print messages on the grounds of the Tour de France? He'd been inspired by some work that we had done 10 years earlier, and I said, yeah, I think we can. And in 7 weeks, we built a machine called the Chalkbot, went on to be called the Nike Chalkbot, which was a robot with 48 nozzles that spray painted text messages and Twitter messages for the Livestrong Foundation on the roads of the Tour de France. This was a great project, won a lot of ad awards last year, and was fun to make. While we were there, we took my entire company to France. We traveled around at the tour, supported the machine, and Adam's actually in that picture with another friend of mine, Greg. I talk about these people as friends because they really are friends. I re-emerged my friendship with Adam. 2010, Adam went back after developing that friendship again and ran into another friend of his, Carl. Carl I didn't know at the time, and Carl took interest in what we were doing. Adam talked about the experience he had with us and why it was interesting. Carl called me, and Carl said, you know what, hey, I want to print something on a ball. Can you print messages on a ball? So for the USA versus England soccer match at last year's World Cup, we built 2 robots that worked in real time and allowed people in Leicester Square, London, and in City Walk, LA, to send taunts back and forth that printed in real time on soccer balls and spit out of a billboard. Again, these are art projects. My background's in fine arts. I've always just wanted to hack things apart, and that's what I continue to do as a company. That evolved into Carl talking to his friend David, and David saying, hey, I want to do something. Do you know someone that can do this? Recommending myself. We went out and built a project for Nike Global called Write the Future, which was covering the Life Center building in Johannesburg, the tallest building in Johannesburg, and allowing kids from 20-plus countries to send in headlines predicting the winner of tomorrow's game that then appeared and animated into a player's face on the side of this building. Tremendous project built in 4 weeks. So while that may seem like, oh, well, that's just what a business does, they sort of earn some reputation and spread it around, that's really not the case. It comes from friendship. It comes from people knowing, trusting, and respecting you and wanting to work with you. When I say every company is made up of people, those people have to work with you. They want to spend their time with you. Disregard no person. What I'm also not suggesting is that you evaluate people based on whether or not you think they're going to earn some long-term revenue for you. This is disgusting, and this is not the way in which I worked. Adam, I had no idea in 1998 was going to go on to work for Nike. There's no clue to that. There's no plan, and there's no thinking, and maybe that will happen. In 1998, when I'm screaming in my Chaos Noise Punk Attack Death Threat t-shirt, there's no idea that I'm going to go on and run a technology company. That was never the plan. You cannot plan for serendipity. Disregard no person. I really do. I think I've met people here, and it's been so fantastic to have this whole weekend to spend time with the organizers here. And I hope that they go on to do great things, and I hope eventually they hire me, right? I hope you hire me at some point. So disregard no person. It also means, and I talk a lot to entrepreneurs, other entrepreneurs, and I care a lot about that. So also disregard no person, even the ones that are also your friends and at your own company. I always have this really simple way of evaluating my company is saying, is it somewhere that I would want to work? Am I doing something that I would be excited to do as an employee? And if that's true and you pass that litmus test, then fine, continue to do it. If not, then you need to change. 1997, I was an intern at a place called the Mattress Factory. I built a website, right? Mattress Factory is an installation art gallery, a long time ago. 2008, since I started the company, I started to donate time back to the Mattress Factory. We work a lot with nonprofits and community development in Pittsburgh, where we're based. And we worked with them on trying to create new ways to experience installation art remotely and inside the gallery. I brought some engineers in. We did a lot of this for free. No plan of evolving into anything. 2010, they were funded by Getty, so now we're on a 2-year initiative, which is amazing, and actually does result in some money for the company to build really compelling. Some of the newest stuff we've ever been working on is now being done with the Mattress Factory, and so that's exciting. Keep your friends. This is something that I actually struggle with a lot personally. I think is very challenging. Hopefully that switches. Okay, so what I'm going to tell you about are 2 friends that I had the opportunity to work together later on. 95. First day of college, and you guys have all gone through the first day of college. I showed up, I was on a skateboard, so I met the other 3 kids on skateboards. 2 of them were Scott and Glenn. Scott and Glenn are still my friends, and I'm glad to say that, but as you get busier, it gets harder to maintain these friendships, and putting these slides together made me realize that. 2005, Scott becomes director of Bike Pittsburgh, which is an amazing bike safety advocacy nonprofit in Pittsburgh. They get national attention for what they do. They do great things. 2-person, started out as a 1.5-person nonprofit. He asked us, hey, can you help us out in 2007? In 2007. Are you in sync here? There. 2007. He asked us to help, one more, he asked us to help him out with a bike map. We worked with Glenn, who at that point became an illustrator, Scott, who ran the nonprofit and gave us directions. I was a cartographer and designer, and together we built Pittsburgh's first bike map in 12 years. We went on to produce 3 iterations of that, 1 number of awards. It was a great project, and I did it with my friends. It was the greatest project to work on, to be able to do that with kids you met the first day of college, who are completely different paths in life. Make the time to listen. This is sort of the crux of all of this, is that whenever it comes down to, especially now in my life where you get pretty busy, it's hard to find time to know who are you going to befriend and how are you going to befriend them, and how are you going to make time to know. I liked in the last presentation talking about just listening. And we actually try to do that a lot with the company, and this actually involves my personal life as well. So in 2009, coming from an art background and being a little bit sort of personally creeped out about the fact that now I work with clients like Nike, I really make an effort to sort of help see the art scene in Pittsburgh grow, and I do care deeply about it. We started an artist residency program with another art group in town called Encyclopedia Destructica. Together we allow artists to basically apply with any idea that they have, as long as it's an idea they do not know how to create, and as long as it incorporates both old and new media. I'm disgusted by things that sort of make a choice. So basically, we created the old and new media residency. Artists apply, we fund them with grant money, they're given engineers time, and they work for a period of about 3 months to build whatever idea it is they have. And they also work with the art group on weekends. So it's a fantastic way for us to meet and learn about new people. The other thing, and I usually talk about this, is why having artists integrate, sort of interface with technologists is so fantastic. I believe most innovation comes from the arts. So whenever I have artists sitting back and thinking in a new way about tools that we experience every day, that's how we find new ways of creating interesting experiences with technology and tools. We learned from that, I talked about working with the Mattress Factory. One thing that I ran into, I just invited someone, the first speaker, to Waffle Wednesday. We have this challenge where, because I'm so involved in artists and supporting things in Pittsburgh that have no money attached to them, you can't expect all of these things to pan out. For every mattress factory that results in a Getty project, there are many, many other projects that result in nothing. And rather than say no, which was one of the choices I was given early on, say no when people call and want to spend time with you, I realized that's a ridiculous model. What I more want to do is I want to have these conversations, but I need to make those conversations fit my own sort of lifestyle at this point. So we created an event called Waffle Wednesday. This is a really simple concept again. And I hope you realize all of these are simple concepts. Waffle Wednesday was basically a project of the office where we open up our office once a month, Wednesday mornings, from 9 until noon. And you can sign up for this on our website. And anyone that wants to can come in, and you get free consulting. You get engineering time. People come in with products that they're inventing. People come in with software ideas that they have. People come in with companies they want to start up. And we work with them and help them sort of generate that, iterate that idea a little bit, suggest new people from the meetup. And often at these events, there's usually 4 or 5 different startups represented. 2 or 3 different investors are usually in the office, while my office, the people who are also software engineers and marketing directors and everything else, are cooking waffles. We serve them waffles. It's a really simple way of creating a listening space. So I said, be nice, don't fake it. I mean, I talked about this a little bit early on. I just want to sort of stress it one more time. Everything that my company does is about the physical world. Why we're doing that and why we've been able to do that for really great projects is because the online world is becoming boring. It's becoming noise. There's too much information in the world. What I've come to value is the physical and real world experiences I have with people. For a company, that means I build objects that you experience and interact with, and it gets in your way and you get excited and you notice it. In my own personal life, that becomes how many people can I have real experiences with that go on to do great things? Yes, I was this punk rock kid in my past, but the experiences I had and the people that I had them with, it's amazing now to sit back and see what those people have gone on to do. There's many people in my life at this point, like Adam, that have gone on to do great things. So be nice, don't fake it. This isn't about moving ahead in the world. It's about evolving yourself and having friends. That's it. Thank you.